Buckle up, history buffs. Let's talk about Attila the Hun, a legendary leader who built an empire that shook the world from modern-day France to the Caspian Sea. He's famous for taking down even the powerful Roman Empire with his fearless warriors. But here's the thing, despite being one of history's most feared figures, Attila and his fearsome fighters remain somewhat of a mystery, especially when it comes to the biggest question of all, what happened to Attila's tomb. Imagine being one of the greatest enigmas in history and we're not just talking about Attila's tomb, but also the origins of the Huns themselves. For over 1,500 years, their roots have remained a complete mystery. Some experts believe they might have been linked to China's feared Xiongnu warriors, who roamed for centuries, but others think they could have come from Kazakhstan or the vast Central Asian steppes, where nomadic tribes once ruled with an iron fist. The truth, we just can't seem to find it. Fast forward to 370 AD. That's when the Huns first rolled into southwestern Europe, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Over the next 80 years, these nomadic warriors wreaked havoc across the continent, storming city after city and leaving nothing but devastation behind. With lightning speed on horseback, the Huns used cunning tactics, like faking disorganization and showing off their sharp shooting skills, to conquer most of Europe north of what was left of the Roman Empire. But who were these invaders? Were they skilled farmers or just nomadic pastoralists living off their herds? The truth is, we're still not entirely sure. Let's get up close and personal with these fierce warriors. We're talking about how they lived, breathed, and rode. Ancient sources paint a vivid picture of Huns as horse-riding enthusiasts, literally glued to their steeds. In fact, spending so much time in the saddle made some Hun warriors a bit clumsy on foot. Who knew? As nomads constantly on the move, it's no surprise that we don't have much physical evidence of their culture. But what we do have are a few cool relics. Think bronze cauldrons and shiny gold jewelry, discovered in their burial sites. The only downside is that these finds are super limited, leaving us with more questions than answers about the Huns' daily lives. We do know they lived in tents, easy to pack up and move when needed, but there's a hint that towards the end of their empire, they might have started building permanent homes. We're still uncovering the details. Get ready for some mind-blowing facts about the Huns' unique look and possible social hierarchy. Archaeologists have discovered that these fierce warriors practiced artificial cranial deformation. Yes, you read that right. They'd bind their babies' heads to stretch and elongate their skulls, giving them a seriously otherworldly appearance. Experts think this practice was probably reserved for the elite, helping to set the nobility apart from the rest of the population. As for what drove their spirituality, we're still in the dark. Roman records simply label them as pagans. But here's where things get interesting. Some historians believe they might have had shamans who dished out prophecies and divined the future. And if that's not enough, there's a legendary sword called Mars' Sword, said to be hidden in Attila the Hun's lost tomb. Would you believe it? Let's talk about Attila the Hun, the fearless leader who left an eternal mark on history. For nearly 2 decades, from 434 to 453 AD, this powerhouse ruled with iron fists, becoming a god-like figure in Hunnic culture. With lightning-fast campaigns and unmatched military prowess, Attila reshaped Europe's landscape, leaving a trail of awe and terror wherever he went. His conquests stretched across the Balkans, and even the mighty Roman city of Carthage fell under his control. Talk about making an impact. But what really fueled Attila's reputation was the sheer terror he unleashed on the edges of the Roman Empire, earning him the ominous nickname Scourge of God. The Romans knew better than to mess with him, so they coughed up massive amounts of gold as an annual tribute, just to keep Attila and his Huns at bay. Despite some setbacks, like a failed siege on Constantinople or a Persian conquest flop, Attila's army always bounced back stronger than ever. By 453, it seemed the Huns were unstoppable. They were poised to conquer even more of Europe. But little did anyone know, the course of history was about to take an unexpected turn. And it all started with a very unusual union, Attila's second marriage to Ildiko, a stunning German princess. The night was supposed to be a lavish celebration, the ultimate Hun-style wedding bash, complete with epic feasting and drinking. But when morning dawned, chaos reigned instead. Attila lay lifeless on the bed, drenched in blood, while his new wife Ildiko cowered in the corner, traumatized. Sounds like your typical Hollywood thriller, right? Well, here's the thing. We can't say for sure what really went down that fateful night. Some wild theories suggest Attila might have even died from a freak nosebleed in his sleep. Yeah, you read that right, a nosebleed. But one thing's for sure, this mysterious death marked the end of an era and left us with more questions than answers. But here's where things get juicy. Some historians think Ildiko might have been behind his untimely demise. Was it a premeditated murder or just a tragic accident? We may never know for sure, but one thing's clear, Attila's passing sent shockwaves throughout the Hun Empire. Without their fearless leader, the once mighty Huns crumbled into chaos, and their vast territory started to break apart. It was like a house of cards crumbling overnight. As for what happened next, there's an eerie legend about Attila's final resting place. A triple coffin fit for a king, made from solid gold, representing the untold riches he'd plundered during his conquests. But wait, there's more. Attila's grand send-off didn't stop at just any old coffin. No way. He got 3, stacked like a luxury tower, gold on the bottom, shining bright like the treasures he'd conquered, silver in the middle, paying homage to his mystical connection with the moon and river, and iron on top, a nod to the unbreakable strength that made him the feared king of the Huns. And you thought that was it? Nope. His final journey came loaded with an epic treasure trove of precious gems and gold. Talk about going out in style. Alongside his legendary Sword of Mars, Attila's trusty battle companion, he took on the afterlife, ready to rule the underworld if need be. But just like that, into the darkness of night, his majestic triple coffin vanished, its secrets buried forever. But here's the kicker. It's said that Attila wanted his final resting place to be as hard to find as a needle in a haystack. So much so that he ordered his own pallbearers and grave diggers to be silenced forever. Talk about a ruthless ruler going out with a bang. The mystery of Attila's tomb has lived on for centuries, fueling theories left and right. First up, the theory that he rests in Sicambria, the legendary capital of the Hun Empire War. But here's the thing, not a single shred of evidence has ever been discovered to support this claim. It's as if Sicambria vanished into thin air. Let's dive deeper into why we might never find Attila's tomb. And it all comes down to the nomadic nature of the Huns. These fierce warriors were always on the move, setting up camp after camp, but never quite putting down roots. If they did build a permanent city like Sicambria, it was probably made of wood, which would have left behind 0 lasting clues when it vanished into thin air. The fact that we only know about Sicambria through a handful of ancient accounts is a huge clue. One of the most famous being from Priscus, a Roman high roller who actually met Attila himself back in 449 AD. Buckle up because we're about to take an epic journey with Priscus. He set off from Constantinople, making his way to Serdica, now modern-day Sofia, Bulgaria, before crossing the Danube River and venturing into Hun territory. Can you imagine what that must have felt like? As they traveled, Priscus recounts crossing 3 more rivers, the Drechen, Tigris, and Typhus. Although those names are long gone, some historians think the mighty Tigris might be linked to today's Tisza River in Hungary. Finally, after all that exploring, Priscus stumbled upon Attila's capital, a humble settlement of wooden huts, with just one stone building at its heart, and all this was surrounded by an imposing wooden wall, guarding the secrets within. So, where did Attila really rest his royal head? Well, it's still a mystery that has historians stumped. But here's what we do know: experts think his final resting place could be somewhere in eastern Hungary, sandwiched between the Danube and Tisza rivers, at the bottom of one of them. Now, imagine this epic tale. Attila himself ordered his Hun engineers to create an artificial waterfall on the Tisza River. Legend has it that they built a dam, and then, once he was laid to rest in a hidden tomb at the river bed, the barrier was destroyed, sending the waters flooding over his final secret hiding spot. And just like that, Attila's legendary burial site vanished into the mists of time. The hunt for Attila's tomb has been ongoing for ages. Think deep-sea treasure hunters meets ancient history. Archaeologists have scoured the riverbed of the Tisza with state-of-the-art sonar gear and even sent in teams of brave divers, but so far zip. Nothing concrete to show for it. But if they ever do find that elusive tomb, oh boy, it'll be a jaw-dropping moment. Imagine unearthing secrets about Attila's final days, tracing his family tree back thousands of years, and maybe even stumbling upon the legendary Sword of Mars, the stuff of epic legends. Until then, we're stuck in the land of what-ifs and wild speculation. The enigma of Attila and his fearless Huns still has us spellbound, these nomadic warriors who burst onto the scene, leaving an indelible mark on history before disappearing into thin air. In just a few short decades, they managed to strike fear into the hearts of empires from Rome to Constantinople. Their lightning-fast raids and brutal tactics left historians scratching their heads. How did this ragtag tribe nearly conquer an entire continent? And then, as quickly as they rose to power, they vanished into the annals of